Before we print this, we need to set up all of the paper for the edition. An edition is a series of prints or proofs that look all the same. Or in an introductory class, prints that look as much the same as you can possibly achieve. So, this block is 6 inches by 6 inches. I have paper here that is 12 inches by 9 inches. We're going to have to take a couple things into account. If we want these pieces of paper to land on the same place on the block every time, we need to find a way to register them. Meaning we need to find a way to get them to be in the same place at the same time. So, nice circular explanation. We can do that by tape, but things will be off a little bit every time. One of the best ways to do that, to register, is with these pins. These are registration pins by a company called Turns & Burton. They're out in Minnesota. They make many different size pins. We need to use the same size. For the sake of our class that I'm making this video for, the pins match the hole punches that we have in the classroom. But if you're doing this at home, you need to know what size you have. These happen to be a 1/4 inch, and that's a 1/4 inch from here to here by 0.120 inches. So it's less than a 1/4 inch top to bottom. They make them shorter, they make them wider and skinnier. Oh, millimeters. Let's go to inches. There we go. 0.2485, close enough to a 1/4 inch. Let's move these over. What I happen to have at home, and not in the studio, is this generic hole punch for a 3-ring binder. Let's see what that does. I punch holes in this piece of paper, and I measure that hole. 0.2795. Okay, so that's close to 9/32. So these holes I punched are actually too big. That's a problem for me at home. I would need to get a different size registration pin. In the studio at school, everything matches, so we don't have to worry about this part. I'm just going over this for people who want to do work after this class or, independently. Let's pretend for a moment that this hole punch matches these pins. I have 20 pieces of paper cut all to the same size. I need to prepare all the paper before I start printing. I'll take each piece of paper, put it in the same place in the hole punch, I can probably do these 5 or 6 at a time because this is Thai Kozo. It's thin but very strong. I can't do the entire stack all at once, but I can do several at once. I can do a bunch of them, so. Now I think I had approximately 20 pieces of paper with the holes in pretty much the same place. You can see there's a little bit of misregistration, but individually, when I use these pins, I can place the paper in the same place every time. So if I'm making a multicolor print, the colors will be in registration. If I'm making a one color print, the block's going to be in roughly the same place every time. So, how do we get a block to land in the same place? This is 12 inches by 9 inches. This is 6 inches by 6 inches. So I have this grid of this cutting board, which makes things pretty easy because I'm doing things in full inches. But if you don't have the luxury of having a grid at home, what you can do is, I'm just going to ruin this piece of paper, is my block is 6 by 6. My paper is 9 by 12. The difference between these two, if I subtract 6 from 12, I got 6. If I get 6 from 9, I have 3. Okay? So, I need 3 inches in total between this side and this side. Must add up to 3. So half of 3 is what? 1 1/2. And on the long side, I need 6 inches. So half of 6 inches is 3 and 3. Take a ruler. Measure 3 inches. 12, 1, 2, 3. 3 inches. 1, 2, 3. So top to bottom, that should be consistent. Yep. Now I'm going to do this side, so I need 1 1/2 inches and 1 1/2 inches. One and a half, 1 1/2, 1 1/2, 1 1/2. So this should fit right in that square. Yep, and it does. Perfect. What I'm going to do is cut out that square. This guy should fit right in that cutout. Okay, so now I'm going to use this cutout template with the holes punched in it, And the upside to this is that the holes are in every single one of my pieces of print paper, so they'll all land in the same place. So I'll use this and set up the printmaking jig. Okay, all that a printing jig is something that has a right angle, a 90-degree angle, in which you can consistently place your block. So the block always goes in the same place, right here in the corner. And since all of our paper has holes cut in it up top in the same place, we can use this template that we made to put the pins in the right place. So place your template over your block, put the pins in, and if they hang over a little bit, that's fine. You sort of got to split the difference between going under the paper and over the edge of the block. Actually, forget about splitting the difference. Get it right to the edge, because you can do a second taping. Get the pins in. Use a piece of tape. The better the tape, the better it'll hold. I'm not taping the paper, I'm only taping the pin. I'm going to remove the paper, and since this part went under the paper, I'm going to add some more tape to it. Make sure that these stay in place. So now when I print, paper is going to drop in the same place every single time.